We finally know a little more about Red Dead Redemption 2. Assassin's Creed Origins will tap into the full power of the Animus. Skyrim will kill you even easier. Find out what we've been playing and more gaming culture on tonight's Inventory Full.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's episode of Inventory Full, right here at the Popcorn Talk Network. We're live on Twitch, we're live on YouTube. We are talking about gaming culture and all sorts of things, but we can't start the show and without mentioning the horrific events that happened in Las Vegas last night. If you are in the Las Vegas area, please give blood, donate, check up on your friends and family. What a terrible goddamn thing to happen. The cards keep just not coming up well for us here, but yeah, do what you can. Anybody else have anything to say about it?
No, it's just tough. I'm excited about talking about like the games we've been talking
escape.
about. And I know I am, and like I think it's been tough to even talk about game culture. Like again, I really wanted to hear about PUBG, but also it's that whole this forefronts more than anything kind of our fetishization of guns and gun culture, especially in our little bubble. So anyway, it's been a tough time, and our just shitty to say, but hearts and prayers and all that stuff. Like we're thinking about
blood, do something, call your congressman if you want change to happen.
Fucking yes,
please,
absolutely.
All right, now let's escape a little bit. We're listening to the sultry sounds of "Far Away" from the original Red Dead Redemption because
so good.
Yeah, this song they performed it live at the whatever form the Video Game Awards were back in the day.
Yes,
and it's
did.
just like,
Yep.
It's beautiful and sad and morose and all that thing, but just beautiful.
Now this played when you're heading into Mexico, right?
Yes.
Oh God, what a moment! What a moment! All time, what a moment!
And
So-
we're going to talk about the Red Dead 2 announcement, like the full trailer,
Yes.
in just a second. But before we do that, we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm one of your hosts, and it's Mark Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark Donica. To my left, Nate Miller.
What's up, nerds? Nate Miller. You can find me on social media at Dog Like Nate.
Stacey Shuttleworth.
Hey guys, I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Stacey Shuttles.
Patrick Dees.
What up, guys? You just heard my name. I'm Patrick Dees. You can find me at P to the D's on Twitter and Truly Slide on your console of choice.
Thanks everybody for coming in. We are coming to you live from the Popcorn Talk Studios. Let's get started with what we were playing over the weekend. See, what's weird is, Nate, I'm looking at you. I'm not seeing PUBG here.
What?
Yeah,
Hold
well,
on.
my friends went out of town, and I don't like playing PUBG by myself.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
More of a team player?
Yeah, somebody's got a full group all the time, so, you know, I'm just out in the cold.
Those texts weren't going his way.
The problem is if
this,
I play by myself,
right.
then I spend the entire game in the bathroom.
Sure.
Like, not even just like a little bit of
Right.
time, like just the whole time.
Sure.
And then I usually die to the circle, and then I just get really frustrated.
Yep.
And then I go play something else.
Okay.
Which something else has been Hearthstone for me.
Yeah, speaking of like, just as we walked into studio, I saw him like manically. I was like, "What are you playing?"
Yes.
Hearthstone. He's like,
Yes.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
Basically, every free moment now is.
Is that? I mean, are
Fucking
you new to
Hearthstone.
it? Is that like?
No, I mean I played Hearthstone in beta.
Oh, got
so,
it,
I mean,
got it.
I played up until they had their first big shift when they introduced they have different formats now. So now
Sure.
there's like a standard format, which is like just the certain recent, like 4 or 5 recent expansions. I'm not sure exactly how it works. And then there's a wild, which just allows everything, basically, to kind of to create a good standard ladder that just doesn't get too crazy with deck possibilities when you've released so many expansions and there's just so many cards out there. And the newest expansion, I think it's called Knights of the Frozen Throne. So it's like
Something like that.
Yeah, Noxramas, winter themed set,
Okay.
lots of Death Knights, and they also have there's hero cards now for each of the heroes you can play as. That kind of changes the hero into like a Death Knight or Death class version of their hero, and they get a different ability. It's pretty cool.
Now, was that the impetus of you coming back to Hearthstone then, or like?
Or
What
was it that
the-
sweet musical animated short?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I was looking. The short was pretty good. I mean, I haven't played in about 2 expansions now, but I've always kind of kept in touch with the game, and looking at some of the cards and watching a lot of the streamers play still. But I recently, to be honest, I got the itch to play Magic the Gathering, and instead of making the plunge into the paper
Yeah.
crack, I figured, I've already got Hearthstone.
Get that
It's on my
digital-
phone
get that
already.
digital crack, son. Yeah.
Just,
That free-to-play digital
Yeah.
crack.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
all
Just
about
a
it.
little taste.
Yes.
Exactly.
Stacey, You've been playing a little bit of the PUBG and the Overwatch and Skyrim.
I have
Get to my veins.
all three of that.
Is that right?
The triple combo. It's
Good for you.
Such a problem. Like,
Was this you coming off of school and being like, I need all of the games right now?
This is me in epic procrastination mode as
Yes. Good for you.
I try to finish all my sewing and jewelry making by this weekend. It's not happening,
Sure.
guys. So I have been playing a lot of games.
Good.
And Skyrim is great for killing 4 hours in a
Oh,
blink
sure.
of an eye.
Yeah.
Well, especially if on read mode, as you tend to be on.
I have read all the books. Well, that's true. All the books I have found, I have read.
Okay.
I finally got out of the cities, and now I'm running around in the wilderness in dungeons that are far too advanced for my level.
Got it.
Looking for wild books.
Yes. I'm finding all the lore. It's mine.
But also, you took to the Inventory Full Twitch page, which we are currently on, as well as YouTube, and you streamed a little bit of PUBG.
I did.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience while we watch it?
I mean, my PUBG experience
Oh,
is
nice.
especially with the 3 people I generally play with.
And I would say sound down.
This is moving, right? This
Yes.
is like real time. This is not a still.
Oh yeah, so this is us in the
This is-
bathroom.
Yeah, you can see the gun moving a little
Yeah, I
bit.
was just making sure people
So
knew.
Notice how
this is a typical game for us.
Right.
Why don't you guys? There's not even a window in that bathroom.
Well, exactly.
You are
She's got
playing.
one
They
entry
can't
point.
sneak up on us.
To give them credit, they are playing the edge of a circle.
Okay.
Yes.
Now it's a white circle, so it's not really the edge, but
Got it.
It will,
will
be in
be.
a moment.
It will
Yeah.
be.
It's
Yeah.
not-
Give it a second.
in a
I
few
mean,
minutes.
realistically, we sit.
So, are you pretty kitted out at this point, or like set the stage
Yeah,
for
so
us?
I'm a looter at
Okay.
heart, and I do this in PUBG too. I will, I'll advocate for the most deserted areas that
Sure.
we could possibly go to. Where
So
we
is
could
that your
just
normal strategy?
try-
Where do you guys drop most often? Would you say?
either the quarry or there's
Who drops quarry?
Exactly.
I
Drop
drop
chicken.
quarry.
Exactly.
I drop quarry.
Exactly. Yeah, I follow.
That's funny because I do
Yes.
the same thing, and I told my friends to do that, and they all stopped doing it because sometimes there's a lot of really good stuff there, sometimes there's not.
It is kind of hit or miss, but we usually get a chance. Oh,
Get in the car, nerds. We're going driving.
So yeah, another big part.
Nice.
So if we're not
Smoke for
hiding in the
cover.
bathroom,
I
we're
like it.
driving in a car. Oh yeah, because we were being shot at this point. But they didn't come into the house though, so we didn't get to execute our strategy of just shooting them point blank in the face when they walk into the bathroom, which is what we keep hoping is going to happen, and it never happens. So the other half of my gameplay is spent driving. And so this is what we have to do every time we drive. Aside from making a lot of noise, we're
Sure.
not stealthy.
No. Why would you? Be?
How can you can't be stealthy in a car?
The person who is driving right now spent one entire game opening every door with a shotgun.
Is that Drew?
Great.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's true.
What better way to open a door?
No, it's the
Or-
best way
yeah.
to open a door. It is, fail-proof. So, this is yeah. So he decides to drive us right towards a drop. And, why not, I guess.
Yeah.
They're already at half health because he's already blown them both up.
Great. I need to tune into this. I feel like I really missed out.
So,
Well, make sure you
there we go.
follow
There,
us.
we all
You
blow
follow
up.
us on
Oh,
Twitch.
yeah.
Oh God! If you follow us on Twitch, you get an email saying, "Hey, you'll be going live."
Going live.
Sure will.
Hey, but you survived.
I mean,
for about 30 seconds.
arguably.
Yeah, no, that.
See no
So I'm
crossbones.
like, oh, yeah.
I do
would
admire
love
you guys are
to
playing first
learn
person.
A
You get bonus
crossbow.
points
Yeah, so this was in a regular game, and I probably should not have been in first person at this point because
Oh.
then I would have seen the person
this is
coming
a
up
third
behind
person
me.
game?
No, we have been playing a lot of the first person, but this one happened to be third person.
Why did you choose to play first person?
I like it better in some cases.
Yeah. I can.
Well, I can understand the
except
familiarity.
Limited,
Yeah.
the limited viewpoint has been an issue. So yeah, my other strategy is just crawl around in the dirt
Great.
until
Right.
and hope no one sees me.
People
it
can
doesn't,
totally see you,
It doesn't
though.
ever work. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
can always see me.
Yeah, it's-
I'm
it's
actually
really
surprised
obvious
I've
when
lived
you
so
see
long
someone
here. Oh yeah,
I think that's the end of the clip.
Moving and prone.
yeah.
Okay.
So
How long were you in the bathtub?
oh,
Cumulatively?
you know what? We
Depends on the game.
probably yeah, it
Okay,
depends on the
okay.
game. We probably only spend about 5 minutes before Drew
which
gets
bathtub?
bored and goes
Yeah,
and steals a car.
Okay.
And then tries to do flips
Okay.
with it. So
I feel
there's-
like Drew is my kind of PUBG.
Yeah,
player.
it sounds
you know,
great.
Drew's a wild man.
We've had so and I'm so sad because it happened after we stopped streaming. But there's this one house that he is continuously trying to jump the car onto the roof of.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
And he's never been able to do it. And the game after we stopped streaming, he jumps the car onto the roof, and it was one of the best things.
Is it the plateau where it's just like a really steep hill, and then there's like a building right on the top?
Yeah. And
Everybody does flips and stuff over there.
Yeah, so
It's like
he
a giant
made
ramp.
it up onto the roof.
Nice.
We immediately got shot at and had to continue on our way, but
That's
you
how
know.
it worked. I wanted to split off from your PUBG experience to talk about something new that's happening, something that doesn't happen too much in regular just multiplayer games. But if you go back to the early days of Halo, people were like, "Oh, I have this idea for game mode. Here are the rules," and everybody would just do it.
Right.
Now in PUBG, if you can bring up that video, we got death races happening.
So I haven't seen this
Well, this
video, but
isn't
I've
the
heard
first-
of
really
them.
So
exciting.
I pulled this video from
Okay.
Stone Mountain 64,
All right.
and go ahead and play it. And it's just a big race. Everybody gets in any vehicle that they can find, and it's no weapons until they cross the first bridge
Yeah.
on the right side of the map,
Yeah.
and then they just go around the edge of the map
There's a
until they
road.
reach the bridge back on
Yeah.
the other side of the show.
And they've just all agreed on this, right?
Yep.
This is not
Well,
a game mode. This is
no.
like 100
Yeah.
people decided, hey,
They
this
were
is
like,
these
yeah.
are the
So there's
these
a
are the
few
rules.
there's a few custom servers in PUBG. A lot of the streamers have their own servers.
Got
so
it.
this is Stone's own server. So he invited, I'm assuming, his subs or friends and whatever.
Sure, yeah,
into
yeah.
it. And so
and
they
and
just
also
agree to the rules.
in
on
terms
that.
of crossing the bridge, and once weapons become free, it's just pistols.
Okay.
But as soon as you cross the bridge, if you get a certain amount ahead, you can start setting up roadblocks
Sure.
and this to stop people, to try to flip people.
but only half the road.
But yes, but only half the road. You have to
Right.
leave some part of it drivable. But the video that I pulled this from is probably about an hour and a half, and watching the first couple of races of, it's like it turns into like wacky races, like Hanna-Barbera's wacky
Yeah.
races,
I can see
but
that.
in PUBG. Now, what if we're getting modes like this before we reach 1.0 and custom service and all of that? What do you think the likelihood is of now the newly dubbed PUBG Corporation
Yes.
of including it into, I mean, I guess I would say vanilla into 1.0?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
I don't know.
now-
I don't think we're
well-
gonna see like an official release of it, but I think we're gonna see more open-ended support for like this type of customization within the game. I don't think we're gonna see like a PUBG official death races mode, but I
Yeah.
think we'll definitely see a way for people to make custom lobbies
Yeah.
where they can run death races, or they can run, because there's other modes too. You know, it started first with just like James Bond mode, so like only pistols, no body armor, only silencers.
Can't play
you know?
as Oddjob.
And then
Slappers only.
And
Fuck
then
that guy.
there's like
Yeah.
medieval warfare, so it's only melee and
Great.
crossbows, which I watched.
Also kind of great.
Which
That
when you
sounds
get to the
wonderful.
final
Yeah.
circle
I'm
and
here
there's
for that.
15 people left,
Just swinging
that
pans,
was
just
one
Oh,
of
yeah.
seriously.
on board.
And
gonna
there's
get
always the
that
one
server.
person that stops to fire the crossbow, and then you miss, and you got to spend 10 minutes to reload, but you can't move while you reload, so then they come and hit you. It was great.
That's
so
you
there's
switch to
lots
your
of
melee.
precedents.
That
I've also
sounds
seen
like
some
fun.
zombie modes too.
Yeah,
Yeah, zombie
yeah,
mode.
I've heard of
Yeah.
those.
So
That's terrifying,
Well,
because then it's like
like-
1 versus 99.
Yeah.
That's
from what I've seen, it's usually squads.
Yeah,
so
squad.
it's usually like
Four versus
4 to
96.
8 is what I've seen. Sometimes it's like it'll be like 8. Yeah.
But especially when that gets down to the final circle, and it's
Those you-
everybody, all the zombies are just prone,
You
and
usually
then
don't
pop
win
up
those.
and run after you.
Right.
Just terrifying.
Except unless you somehow survive like the late rush,
Mm-hmm.
and there's only like 15 to 20 left. At that point, you just start clearing them out
Yeah.
because they have to run at you.
Oh.
and you
Yeah,
can just
sure.
shoot them,
That's
you know,
rough.
if you haven't run out of ammo. Yeah.
But I want to, Mark, what do you think? Like, what is the future? What is the roadmap? Nate, you play the most of this. Like, what is, because I think like there is a certain business reality that the PUBG Corp is looking at in the very near future, right? Like, this is sold incredibly well, but there are a finite number of copies they're going to sell, be it 25, 30 million, right? Then there's this point where like everybody who's going to buy the game has the game. And how do you continue to monetize it? So like I feel like there's this very real conversation that the PUBG Corp has to have with their player base that says, hey, we're gonna sell you fog mode or death race mode or one of those things, or the new map is for sale. Like, what does that look like? Because at some point they're gonna have to continue to drive revenue, especially if they're prepping for a sale, which they may or may not be in the near future. They have to drive revenue, they have shareholders. What does that look like once they've hit saturation?
I don't know if they've reached that point yet that they need to be like adding more stuff for people to pay for, because I think a lot of people still feel that the game that they have paid for, even though they may have played it a lot,
Right.
like I feel the same way. I think I paid more for it than it was worth.
Oh,
Does that make-
interesting.
in terms of like polish and
Yeah,
the game being
sure.
finished and what's included and stuff like that. So I understand that they do have to make a profit on it
Yep.
somehow, but the community, we've already seen really strong backlash from the community, from small things, from like people being banned,
Yeah.
and when the loot crates got announced, and like the competition and stuff. So if they come with the new map they've been teasing and be like, hey, here's the new map, you got to buy
$10.
this separate.
But like that's my point.
That's-
There is a like, and I think you're right. I don't think it's I don't think it's 6 months from now maybe, and then they still have the console release, sure. But when they hit 1.0 and it is code complete and ostensibly feature complete, at some point they have to figure like 100-person servers are not cheap. So how do you continue to monetize a game?
I would say if any, once they start, they've incorporated custom servers, and if they keep operating those, especially in the console mode, if they offer creation packs for a certain amount,
Okay.
gets you new assets,
Sure.
and then that makes
That'd be a great
pushes community creation.
Great.
But something where it's like, not necessarily like drop the mode for free, drop the map for free, but I would say similar to like Overwatch's loot boxes. They don't have guns in them. They've got costumes. They've got emotes.
Yep.
They've got sprays.
Sure.
They've got
Yeah.
this. So something that's aesthetic
Yep.
Right.
usually tends to work.
I'd
well.
pay great money for sprays.
Definitely
just a big middle
microtransactions.
finger. I could just spray paint everywhere, right in that
I want some
bathtub,
emotes.
right all
Fine.
over the bathtub.
Or
Yeah.
even like, I mean, I don't want it because PUBG is so realistic. There's certain things like announcer packs and things like
Yep.
that I know we won't see, but maybe like influenced character models that are like obviously like an action hero or something,
Sure.
knockoff or things of
Okay.
that nature.
Inspired
Like
by-
I think there's
You know
things
what would
that
make a lot of
you
money
could get
going
away
along
with.
that? YouTuber models.
Yeah.
Like if you could get something that looks like
Oh.
Markiplier, get
Barf.
something that
Dude,
yeah,
God
dude.
damn it.
But
I'm
that's
not
the thing.
saying it's
Is-
wrong.
Is those audiences
I
will
agree.
pay
Yeah,
for that.
Fucking, I agree, but
And then
like,
you don't have to pay huge,
hesitation.
necessarily huge licensing fees to get
I'd rather-
that visage in there, or Markiplier's hair,
I
or
just
something.
I way
Yeah, yeah.
rather like play like not John Wick, but John Rick, and it's like it's just like a dude suited out. Like they all but ripped off Battle Royale already, right? They were inspired by the Battle Royale movie costumes, right? So.
Not
Let's
even
skirt that
inspired
line.
by it. They just straight ripped them
straight
off
ripped.
with
I'm
the-
just
yeah.
trying to be polite.
No,
they
yeah.
straight ripped them.
I mean,
yes.
I don't think
So
any-
let's,
I don't think
I
they
just, give me
even
the John
ripped.
Rick suit
so
and a middle finger spray.
so with that,
I'm on board.
Good. All right.
we talked about it a little bit.
Solved.
Now that PlayerUnknown's is Battlegrounds is a smash hit, its developer Bluehole Incorporated is worth $4.6 billion.
4.6.
$billion.
With a B?
Billion with a B.
All right.
No wonder the team of Bluehole that handled the game is being turned into a subsidiary
Right.
called the PUBG Corporation.
Sure.
Game Talk via Sang reports that PUBG producer Changhan Kim will be the company's CEO. The PUBG Corporation already established a United States office and is going to be setting up branches in Japan and Europe.
Sure.
Doubt it's going to stop there. That was from the fine folks at Kotaku.
I was just gonna ask where that valuation came from because
The evaluation? It doesn't say.
it seems incredibly aggressive. The other thing too is they've got like that's a function of EBITDA, right? So like what their revenue is right now, and that's assuming that's right now, right? Like again, they've got to continue to maintain those profit levels. So I'm interested to see what they do in the future.
Once everybody has it, where do you go?
Right, totally, that's my point.
Right.
They want to.
Then they'll get console, and maybe people will buy it on console. But why would you want to buy it when you can get it in Fortnite for free?
Like 1 million people did. Holy
Actually,
shit! 1 million.
It's not the same game, though.
No, it's not. But,
I
speaking of
agree,
that,
but it's fucking eating its
watching
lipsticks.
watching the Twitch trends and the top stream
Yes.
stuff, all of a sudden, Fortnite is number
Fucking
4
Totally.
of most streamed games.
With a bullet.
PUBG is still number 1.
I know.
But Fortnite is creeping up.
I know. I was
It's like
impressed.
Hearthstone,
I
Overwatch,
know.
Free to play.
Fortnite.
Yep.
Yeah. Fortnite. Anyway.
See, why aren't you?
Well, we're
bringing
gonna
that
play
shit?
it, right?
Yeah, so we've decided as a team that we're gonna start playing Fortnite and probably more than not Fortnite Battle Royale, just because we can all play it.
Yeah.
I want to play a little bit of the Horde mode. Can we do that?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll build
Great.
an
Great.
HQ just so we can
Perfect.
figure out how to
Can we
take.
build the studio
I wouldn't.
in Fortnite?
That.
Challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. Sorry, I'm a little excited. I'm like,
We'll put
Tracy
traps.
and I are
In,
on it. You guys just protect us.
we'll put traps in the
We'll
bar
build some
area.
shit. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll get a little corner where we can
Definitely.
build our
Don't mind us.
studio.
Those guys are good.
I'll just be off
We're
in the
gonna
corner
build shit. I'm so happy.
shooting things.
Complete with like little microphone volume deals. Turn me down. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's
Yes.
I was like,
in
wait,
Fortnite.
it just
You're
got
like,
really
what
aggressive.
are you talking about?
So something I want to talk about that I did this weekend is I got to play a whole bunch of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite thanks to my friend Erica.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Thanks, Erica.
I played the entire story mode, and it took me 4 hours and about 4.5 hours.
Talk to me about
But the
it.
final boss, the entire final boss encounter took me an hour.
Just stop. Fuck. Is it really that fighting game truly where they're just cheap beyond all?
They throw
get out?
everything at you.
Stop.
To the point, and here's a little bit of actually one of my favorite parts. Now I think I figured out the perfect way to describe this game. It's that B movie that you can't help but really enjoy.
I've seen plenty of those with you.
Because sometimes, like this fight with the Hulk was one of the few ones where I just couldn't. And this I think is one of the times where this is definitely one of the times where I lose.
It's painful to watch, my friend.
Yeah, and I totally with that.
Strike.
But yeah, regardless.
Do you
story
get to
mode-
choose who you play?
No.
Okay.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Now shut up. Even though I love Ryu,
mean,
so the thing about Marvel vs. Capcom is
Literally
they changed
everyone should know how to play Ryu.
they
in
changed
every
their button
game.
configuration again.
Okay.
So the last Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had 3 action buttons
Right.
that acted as both punch and kick.
Okay.
With this, they made the 4 face buttons low punch, high punch, low punch, middle punch. So
weird.
it threw me for the first little bit, and this is like the first hour and a half.
Get him!
I
Oh,
think.
in the back.
Yeah, dishonorable. But so the thing about it is some of the times where they crush worlds together are really silly and ridiculous, but I couldn't help to like throw up the horns and be like, okay, as a Street Fighter nerd, as a Marvel nerd, as a Mega Man nerd, as a whatever,
Yeah.
seeing these worlds collide, it can get really cool.
I bet it can.
Like this
Yeah.
scene leads, like you're trying to wake up Hulk from one of his anger issues,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah, by beating him up.
But then this turns into Ryu and Hulk fighting the Elder Dragon from Capcom's Monster Hunter.
Sure.
And
Right.
like Hulk smashes him down while Ryu does a Shin Shoryuken up, and it's really dumb, but it's just really flippin' cool and entertaining.
Man, and the animation is so cool.
It's crisp and
It's
it looks
awesome.
beautiful.
Really nice.
It
Yeah,
looks
and it
so.
looks-
It looks so good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks so much better than the last one.
Oh, does it?
It looks so much
Yeah.
more like 2.
Yeah, this game's beautiful.
But the dialogue is really shitty.
sure.
Uh,
In the best way, though. Yeah.
and the animations and the motion capture is really shitty to the point.
Alright.
So
Can we be
alright.
honest though? Like,
Huh.
when did we start talking about the story modes in fighting games?
No,
like,
exactly. But that's the thing.
Why?
It's like the stuff that's happening is really cool, but if you go back and watch the stream on twitch.tv/inventoryfullpt, I call most of the like
Right.
most of the lines where it's like something pause. What?
Is that the Monster Hunter?
Yes.
I thought
is
she's
it?
DLC.
She is. You don't
It's still
fight
in the story
Yeah.
mode.
So both of them are like, we have stuff to take care of here. You go do what you need to do, which was just like, all right, DLC.
This is just cool to see. It's just cool. There's Cap and Chun-Li. Sorry, like I.
Yeah, no,
that is
that's
so
the
cool.
thing.
Sold
Is this,
Is
Just a
T'Challa
lone soul man,
playable?
right?
T'Challa will be playable.
Okay.
He's DLC as well.
So,
So
I don't like
as you can
that.
see here, the performance capture was done sort of independently, so people like
Sure.
are moving arms regardless of what the actual words may be.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of just movement that's useless and pointless and takes you out, but it's like a B movie.
Totally.
And ultimately, story resolves exactly how you would think it would. Playing as Thanos is fun as hell because he's ridiculously overpowered, and it comes to times where he's like, "Hey, I'm mad at you," and you, like in scenes like this, there are 4 characters present, but by the time the story or like the fight comes along, you can't pick who you get to play.
Really.
And then coming off of Injustice 2, where scenes start and it's like, do you want to play as this character or that character?
And then
You have that
you're
choice.
in the.
And then you're in it
Yeah.
immediately. The loading screens were awful. Just
I've
awful.
heard that.
40 to 50 seconds a piece.
Yikes.
And it's just
Inexcusable.
Yeah, no.
just rough.
Almost
just
a
rough.
minute.
But
That is inexcusable. But like we
torture.
have precedent. Like again, I played a little Injustice
Mm-hmm.
this weekend. My brother was in town. We messed around with Injustice. Like, and all to your point, like the minute that's it loads in the background, that cutscene transition right in, and you're fighting. It's incredible.
Can we
Agreed.
just time out real quick?
Yeah.
Never play GTA 5 because you want load screens.
oh no, I know.
You
I know.
want load screens.
But at least once you're in,
Okay.
you're in.
Yeah, I agree. Yes. I mean, when you switch characters.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me GTA Online.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no. Once you're on GTA Online, it's
Now you have to load between every activity. and
Right.
In between.
why are you doing activities? Just grab a plane, drive around, blow
Crash some
people
shit.
up.
Yeah.
This is the true point of
If
that
only,
game.
you would think that's what you would do in that game, but you would be wrong.
Talking like I don't
Rockstar
play
would-
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's all I
You're not-
did.
you're not doing
so
it right.
did I play it wrong?
Sorry, I only did golf and yoga.
played it the most
Excuse
right.
me.
That yoga I keep going back to. I was on the cover of Downward Dog magazine in that game. It was incredible.
Centers the mind.
not
All
a
right,
thing.
we've been talking for a real long time, and it's already 6:30. So, Patrick, sorry, you've been playing a lot of Dishonored 2?
I have not much more to say, but I played a little bit more than last week. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dishonored. There's like this whole, like the power. There's an upgrade tree, right? Like there's a power set. You choose how you spec your character. This game doesn't do that. It says here are the powers you get, and you figure out how to navigate the environment. It also moves away from that chaos system. So there's no like morality judgment. So you are free, because it really fucks up your world state if you murder people in the first ones. I actually really like I think the gameplay is really fun. But I feel like the devs built all of this like murder powers that nobody took advantage of because everyone is still through those games, and this basically frees you from that shackle. It says go murder fools, and
Oh,
it's
jeez.
delightful. And so I've really enjoyed it. It's made for some really tight levels because they're only designing 2, 3, or 4 powers. But then I learned, so I was like, okay, great. Of course, it's well designed. But there's a New Game Plus mode that gives you all of the powers from Dishonored 2 in these same levels, which I think is really kind of cool. I'm obviously not there yet, but I just learned about it this weekend. Anyway, I just love that world, and I'm really genuinely enjoying the limitations they put on it because you only have 3 or 4 powers.
Are you
Go ahead.
playing the Death of an Outsider?
I am, yeah,
Okay. So
totally.
is the not impact on the world with killing, is that part of that? Because from my experience with the second game, I mean, I've only played like 3 or 4 hours into
Yep.
it, but it tried to make it very clear to me that the more people I killed, it was gonna get.
Oh, totally. It is just
Okay.
this. So it's in
So
the
it's
Death
just
of the
within-
Outsider. Yes.
okay.
And so like
Gotcha,
I
gotcha.
did go high chaos playing with my first Dishonored 2 run, which ended up being about 44 hours. So I kept thinking, oh yeah, I'll go back and do a stealth run, which I will not. I play these levels exhaustively because there's so many like. Well, you played it, right? There's 6
Yeah.
or 7 ways to do every objective,
I
and
think
then I go back and
exhausting is a good way to describe that game.
yeah, totally. And it's kind of magic for me. I'm kind of like, there's so many ways. So like last night I was tasked with this, getting a key off of this one dude, and there's like guards on both sides of him. And so like I did this thing where I ripped off, one of the powers is you can assume random's faces. So I took this person's face, I walked in there, he just goes unconscious.
Took his
he's fine.
face
Took his face
Off? Very good.
Yes. Took his face off, snuck behind, got behind some boards, and then I like pickpocketed the key, and then I blinked out and I ghosted. And then I came around the corner and I found this way I could go underneath thing, pull a trap door where he could fall down, I could murder him and then take the key. I found like 3 or 4 other ways.
Interesting.
It was awesome. And I was like, it's the examples of like, I found a way, I'm like, aha, fuck you game, I outsmarted you. But then I found like 3 or 4 other ways that you could kind of do it too. And
Damn it.
The game is so, again, if you're,
They incepted
I
you.
hate to say fans of the series, but sure, if you enjoy
Yeah.
the Dishonored 2 universe, I highly encourage you to play it. I don't think we're getting any more Dishonored anytime
No, that's
soon.
it.
Literally
That's it for a
ones
while.
of people played that game across the country.
I mean, the E3 presentation was just so interesting, but we're not talking about that. But speaking of limitations,
Yes.
and a very expansive world, let's talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. We got
Yes!
the trailer. Let's pull up the trailer.
We're going to talk over it?
So, well, yeah,
Okay.
we'll play it with a little bit of volume.
people can
Now
go
this game, people when we were what?
Yeah, no, this game.
Yeah, this
I
game.
know, yes.
We were talking about it last week. Some people were like, "Oh, it's a prequel," and what we were hoping for.
Yep.
And it is a prequel.
Indeed.
It features a new character named Arthur Morgan and is set before the events of the first Red Dead Redemption.
Yes.
Not Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption.
Right.
And
look at that.
there's still no release date. It's the spring 2018. And it's the Vanderlyn gang.
Yep.
And-
Dutch's gang from the first one.
We're back.
Yep.
We're back with Dutch, and it looks amazing.
Amazing.
Just
Looks amazing.
pushing the limits. I'm sure it'll push system limits. It'll look great on your Xbox One X or PlayStation 4 Pro.
True story.
But like it still has that Rockstar look.
It does.
It still feels like Rockstar. Watching the trailer, what was everybody's reaction?
it was that the polish. They're showing up here in a minute. Like I think they're gonna show him walking down the street with dual wielding here. There it is.
Yeah.
Very excited about that. One of the things that I always wanted was dual wield. I wanted a bow and arrow in the first one. They showed that in the trailer, and like there are just so many moments in that where like I get excited to see it, and it'll be interesting to see, because it is Dutch's gang, if we're going to see John Marston being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right? Because we know, as a young man, he did some terrible things. He was looking to escape. So I think that'll be really interesting to see, maybe as this protagonist, you bounce out of the gang before, and maybe that's the catalyst for John leaving, going, hey, look, people are standing up to Dutch. Like, I kind of can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was
No?
really, really hyped about it, and then the more that I think about it, especially knowing that it's a prequel, I'm not as hyped about it.
What about that? Why?
Well, I mean, the prequel thing is just like, it's hard for them to go after the last game because it's supposed to be like the end of an era,
Right.
But especially to go for a prequel of something that we know a lot about already. We know a lot about Dutch's game. We know what happens to a lot of them.
Right.
Like, so
Is this supposed to make us like them?
No. There's no way.
Yeah.
it's
Right?
just
Like-
removing I just feel like there's so many other things that they could have gone with instead of all the stuff that's already established.
And-
Like, it's an era that we know a little bit about what happens before, and we know about what happens after. So like, there's, with the exception of just the new characters that they add, which we know, all right, you're going to be the main character, you're going to die because
Right.
we know that you don't make it to the end because we know who makes it.
Or maybe
Or
you
you
end up
just get
somewhere else.
out
But
and
that's the
say-
thing. That's the thing, is that Mr. is knowing that something is going to happen to your character. I agree in terms of the prequel. We could have gone adjacent. If that's supposed to be the end of an era, if we're already
I'd have been on board, yes.
But here's the thing: if we're already playing as a new character,
Yep.
why retrace the same stuff?
I think it's kind of awesome. So stay with me on this, because I'm with you. I think I've got a little bit of prequel fatigue as a whole. So totally with you on that, Nate. But like, I'll take Rogue One as an example, right? Like, I think Rogue One, like when it was announced, I'm like, come on, I don't know that we need this. And then I watched it, and I think it not only was a great movie in and of itself, but I think it made Episode 4 a better film. I genuinely do, and I think if they can do this right, and I trust Rockstar because I think they're narrative geniuses. I think they can make.
I don't know if that's a good metaphor, because Rogue One is not. Rogue One I would rather have a Rogue One where canonically, time wise, it takes place before, but story wise, it's sideways. It doesn't, except for the last scene at the end. It doesn't really have to do with the main story, with the main
this
movies
is
that it's in
exactly
between.
that,
The main,
though, right? Like, we never
no,
saw
because
him
the
with
main
Dutch's gang.
character from last game is in this game.
Totally right, but a lot of the overlap. So again, they weren't principal actors in this game, but like maybe this is. It gives us another perspective, and to me that sounds really potentially interesting. Last
I mean, I'm gonna
parallel,
play it for sure.
Like, I don't know if you're a big Ender's Game fan. Like,
Okay.
Okay, so like Orson Ender Shadow, right? Like, so that's the whole game, that whole thing, but from Bean's perspective, and it realigns your perception of everything that went on. And so this could be.
That would be
I'm
cool.
just choosing. I'm choosing to say, like, hey, maybe like everything's skewed by people's perspective, and maybe John didn't exactly tell us some things. Maybe
That's a good way to put it.
So I'm choosing to stay optimistic. This could go very badly. I am with you, Nate.
Maybe we don't know why. That's okay.
Yeah,
That's a good way.
I'm choosing to stay optimistic about it just because Rockstar is so good, and they've had like literally unlimited time and money to build
The other
this
two
out.
things, but that's the other two things that killed the hype for me. Is one,
Okay.
they've delayed it and pushed it back, and it's known. There are grumblings about them having issues developing this game. And lastly, no PC announcement. What the hell?
so
It's
there it is.
2017.
There it
It's
is.
2017. We never got a
Right.
port from the last game. Don't put this game out and then 9 months later give us a really shitty port so I have to buy it twice.
Maybe-
There's no
No,
doubt that
just
that
put
comes-
it out on PC.
Again
Just
about
give
the
it
Wild
to
West.
me.
Maybe the PC just doesn't have the horsepower.
Just
Oh, yes.
Just give it to
yes,
me.
a fan of that.
I
Mark.
have it. And guess what? If it doesn't, I'll buy more horsepower and put it in it because I can do that
It's a
without
horse-
voiding my warranty.
It's a horse stroke.
I just definitely,
Yeah,
they're
the West.
definitely
Yeah,
gonna
I
sell
know.
it 9 months later, and you're gonna buy it twice.
I
It's the
am.
sad
I am.
reality.
It's gonna
I know.
happen.
And I hate
know.
you for it,
Well, here's the
Rockstar.
thing: you've been doing so well with Destiny.
I know.
You've been doing
You've
so
made
well.
it.
I know.
You're
You're
almost
There's no
there.
way. There's no way
almost
I
there.
wait for this game.
No, yeah,
Without,
yeah.
That would be like waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out on PC.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
It's like it's coming
luck
out.
with
Because
that.
Red Dead, the Redemption
Kingdom
still,
Hearts 3 coming out first on the Nintendo 2DS XL.
If they announce with this, like, oh, and
You
also,
shut your mouth. Don't you dare.
if they announce,
Even-
if there's some type of package that comes with like a Redemption remaster that gets a PC port or something in that nature,
Alright.
then yes, then I'm excited because then at least I know for sure it's coming eventually.
Yeah,
but
man,
as of now, I have no. I mean, unless it comes with an online. If it has an online, then for sure it's going to come to
You know
PC,
it will.
because
That is
they're
a
just
cash
making.
cow.
I know.
A cash cow.
Yeah.
Guarantee there.
That's the only reason why. I think
Did it excite you, Mark? Like, I know you're a fan of the first one to no end. Like, was that interesting to you? Did it do anything?
I love how the game looks.
Yeah.
For me, if this and I'll use this as a bit of a transition into our next story.
Sure.
If this had a discovery mode in it, I would probably be a little bit more interested.
Okay. Great segue, but sure.
To really?
No, yeah, I
because
would be too.
Red Dead 1 was a good game.
I agree.
But
Maybe the
I've
best of the
mentioned
generation?
I've mentioned I would personally I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
Because for me it took too long to do stuff, which it's a Western. Of course it takes it. Just stop it. We're
Top
already
five of the
super low
generation.
on time. Don't have enough time to talk about it.
Fair enough.
My thoughts on the original
I
Red Dead.
want to hear it.
But yeah.
Dead special.
Let's just talk about Red Dead.
Regardless, Assassin's Creed Origins
Yeah.
announced a discovery mode.
I know, it's
Yes.
Now, this is coming
So
directly
cool.
from
I thought
Ubisoft.
immediately.
With the Discovery Tour, Assassin's Creed Origins is using the concept of the Animus database, along one of the most fascinating parts of the series,
Well,
says Ubisoft,
Why,
as a
yes.
springboard for an entirely new kind of experience, where the database was a collection of educational and frequently snarky notes on the notes on the important people, places, and events that you encounter in each game. Discovery Tour as an entirely new game mode that turns the massive recreation of Egypt into a combat-free living museum with guided tours that let players delve into history firsthand. Separate from the main game, Discovery Tour annotates the game world with dozens of interactive tours curated by historians and Egyptologists. Each focuses on a different subject, including the Great Pyramids, the life of Cleopatra, mummification, and more. Additionally, Discovery Tours lets players roam the entire game world without constraints or threats, exploring a sprawling landscape that includes Memphis, Alexandria, the Sand Sea, the Giza Plateau at their own pace. This is going to arrive in early 2018 as a free update for Xbox One, PS4, and PC.
Excited about this? This is the one you're excited about?
I think that this is a great. One of my favorite things about the Assassin's Creed franchise, and Stacey, I'm sure you can speak on this as well, is not being able just to enjoy the world.
Yeah.
The world is so they make it so in depth and so accurate to what it was.
Yes.
But just as you're starting to like look at each building and all of the detail on the buildings, hey you! Then
Right.
you've got a pack
And
of
you
guards
move.
coming after you, and
Totally.
you've got to move. And it's like, hey,
And you lose
remember
track
this
of
is a
where you
game.
were.
I don't know
So
if I've had that experience.
You like
she's just
you
kill everybody.
Yeah,
Well,
so
that too.
I'm constantly being chased by everyone, so I don't get to look
I mean,
around.
there's-
Cause trouble.
I feel like if you guys are constantly alerting guards, you're doing something wrong.
Well, if
I
you're
feel
on
like
the
you
street
can
trying to
stand-
look at the like trying to
Yeah.
look at some
well,
of the
you just
major
haven't spent
monuments
enough
of the
time
world.
going through and getting all the collectibles to have seen every.
I'm talking
building
about
8
Assassin's Creed 2,
times.
the game I platinumed. You shut your damn mouth.
Yes.
Anyway.
No, and you experience most of these game worlds jumping from roof to roof, murdering people. I think this is super cool. What this drips of is they got a grant, an educational grant that said,
Yeah.
hey, build this
Sure.
into your game. Great, like I'm all
I mean,
for
they've
it. But
already-
like,
Great
imagine.
way to spread this education too.
Right, being in education, like how cool would it be? Like how rad would your teacher be if like you had a day blocked out where you got to go check out the pyramids in this world? I think this is rad, and I hope more games do it.
And it's
and like
I'll readily admit that this is probably, I would say at the very least 10% of the people playing this game are probably going to check
maybe,
out.
but how great
Probably
is
the
it?
last-
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's cool. I also think it's super lame and gimmicky because like the games have always had these notes in them. Like it's always had.
You just have to go looking for
Yeah,
it.
and just who did that? I didn't. I know.
I
That,
did
I'm
it
sure
to get
there
rid
were
of the
some
exclamation
people
points.
that did
Everyone.
go through.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course. That's what I
totally
mean.
believe that.
Everybody read those, of course.
I read them thoroughly.
I mean,
Thank you.
exactly.
Mr.
I mean,
Bison.
it's cool. It sounds cool, you know, but like in reality, it's like game mode. Yeah,
I love it. Look, it's a free update. They're not charging for it. They're not trying to monetize
Yeah.
it anyway. And I kind of actually love that. Like, look, the amount of research and like all of those like Vidocs that they all the dev docs that they do on this stuff, where they're talking about the exhausting amount of research. Look, they've done a lot of homework on this. They might as well pass that forward, right?
Show
like,
it off.
yeah, they're not going to
Have
show
it.
mummification process probably as you're stabbing somebody's throat. But maybe if you want to like deep dive into it, why not? Like, I think it's awesome. I think it's just a plus.
and it's going to flex the power of the Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro.
You're damn right it is.
I want a Xbox One X for free. All right, we're pretty low on time, so we're not going to be able to get to all the stories that I have on this sheet. But let's the game that won't die, Skyrim.
No.
So, so coming soon to the Skyrim Special Edition, currently available on PC, Xbox One, and soon to be Xbox One X, and PS4 and PS4
Switch.
Pro. They did not mention the Switch port in this.
Okay.
So that might be something that's post-launch.
All right.
And it may be something that's happening before it launches on Switch.
I really thought that was the impetus for this mode. Was
Yeah.
like, hey, it's new shit for Switch, but by the way, all you other folks get it too. I
You
didn't.
can have it.
It
so
says
that's weird- even
early
weirder.
next month. So
Who asked for this?
either way,
Same.
here's what's happening.
Yeah.
So as you
Apparently
can,
lots
as
of
you can see,
people.
the image that we're showing
Same.
is the new map of Skyrim that features the different climate zones. There's a lot of light blue in there.
A lot of light blue.
Yep.
So here's what's up. The map's been updated to reflect climate, which with players needing to be careful in colder areas to avoid freezing to death. You can keep warm with armor and clothing or by standing by a fire. And now your stomach is part of the game too, with players needing to eat to stay alive. You don't eat, you die. Eat enough and you'll get a well-fed bonus. Eat raw food and you can get sick. Eat cooked meat and it'll have you feeling great.
I don't know, like, was well-fed sexy?
Probably.
I like thicker
Apparently.
milkshakes. I like what?
That's worse.
Yeah. I
So
don't
it
know
will
what's wrong with me.
fatigue will run your magicka meter down, and you'll need to sleep in a bed to recover. Fast travel has been disabled. The
What?
amount you can carry has been drastically reduced, and shrines aren't free anymore. You're going to have to use gold. You're going to have to pay gold to use them. Whew, boy. So this, but part of this announcement came with the Bethesda Creation Club
Oh, got it.
stigma, which is it's free for a week. If you download it in its first week, it's yours.
Great.
But after that first week, if you didn't get in on that first week, you got to pay for it.
How much are they charging in this?
Does not say yet.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they're not supposed to.
The beta is available now on PC and Xbox and PS4. We'll be getting it early next month. I mean, this changes Skyrim.
Yeah.
I feel like this is for people who, first of all, are still playing Skyrim.
Okay. Second of all.
Direct
Yeah,
Second of all,
like-
cannot stop playing Skyrim.
Right.
Third of all, have developed a codependent relationship with Skyrim.
Yep.
And will do whatever Skyrim say.
Fourth
And
of
they've
all-
now progressed to the part where Skyrim starts to do mean things to you, but you've got like
An
Stockholm
abusive
syndrome,
regime.
so
Yeah,
you're
you're
like,
like-
yeah, I want this.
No, like,
I
if-
want to get punished because I'm not wearing enough clothing and it's too cold
If
outside.
I just get the
or I
well-fed
didn't
bonus,
eat enough
Skyrim will
food.
like me. Now-
I want to get punished for not cooking my meat.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I really can't play, but baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah.
I have enough issue managing like my carrying weight in games like this, let alone
Dude,
how
I
hungry
hate being
am.
I
over-encumbered.
do-
First comment I made.
Right? Like, I think that there was this meeting. There was a meeting that took place that said, "How much will this work cost us? How much do we forecast that we can make? If Y was greater than X, then they greenlit it." I don't know who. This is not driven by community.
I mean, but I feel like even if it was driven by community, there's got to be a mod that someone has made out there already that does this for you. Like,
I'm pretty sure there are.
Of course
and,
there
I mean,
has to be.
There are realistic weather mods. I have one right now. The torrential downpour is insane in my game. Like, you can't hear over it. So I have all the there are weather zones out there. I think I've seen one that will dock health if you don't feed yourself and things like that. So it is. They're out there.
the game is on. Like, you have to plan your routes so carefully to never fast travel. I was like, this
Oh.
the entire game.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll be like, all right, I'm going here, and then somehow I'll end up like 5 towns over.
Totally.
And I'll be like, oh wait, I gotta go
Somehow.
back now. Yeah,
can't
as if
somehow.
someone leaves a trail of books to distract you from your path.
I smell knowledge.
There's one. Oh, look, a book.
Maybe there's a book in that shack over there. I should go check just in case.
Oh man. So I mean, cool.
yeah. Yes.
And more,
Yes.
more life into Skyrim, and people wondering, hey, Elder Scrolls 6. They've been
Yeah,
working
good
on
luck.
working on this.
Yes.
Soon we're gonna get the Xbox One X Special Edition and the PS4 Pro Special Edition.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. All right. The kind of the last thing we're gonna talk about is just the world of microtransactions.
Won't go away.
So check it out.
here to stay.
Forza 7, launching tomorrow, is introducing prize crates, which are replacing the mod packs that were in Forza Motorsport 6. So these prize crates are essentially like rec packs in Halo 5
Right.
or gear packs from Gears of War 4. They include rare cars, mods, driver gear, all sorts of stuff. Now, they're listed for in-game credits that you can earn just by completing certain events at different difficulty levels. And Forza has been known, at least with Forza Horizon 2, Forza Motorsport 6, and Forza Horizon 3, they would launch with like, oh, hey, mod packs and things like this. And then a couple months in, they're like, oh, but you can buy them now. And while they haven't announced that future here, they've also started to include a specialty dealer where you can find rare cars at a special price for a limited time. And they're going to be like the Forza edition cars, the super rare cars that you can't necessarily find in the regular packs. So this sort of caused a preemptive uproar on microtransactions, and it seems like we're talking about microtransactions from a different game every week.
This is different though for a couple reasons for me. One, this is like a first party studio, and like ostensibly this is the marquee title for the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Right. So again, on an earnings sheet, like this is designed, like they could even sell this at a loss, right? This is to move consoles. This is a first party. They don't need to make that incremental income. I'm all for companies having, I think like I'm not one of these things that says whatever's pro-developer is anti-consumer, because I don't believe that. I'm all for having, we talked about this like off mic, like I'm very pro microtransaction, and a lot of times I'd rather pay 99 cents if I can have some shortcuts, because I have a little bit more expendable income than I have time a lot of times, but I still want to enjoy the game at that same level. So I'm for that. But this is first party. This is super gross, right? Like this is to move consoles. The second piece of this, which gets gross, and I don't think that's listed there, is that like the other thing this thing does is to be able to buy certain cars, you have to reach a collector level, which is true to real life. Like you can't just walk into a dealership and buy any Ferrari. They won't sell you some of them unless if you're on record as having owned several models of Ferrari. So this actually makes you raise your collector level by spending all of your in-game currency on shitty cars that you don't want. So by the time you get to the car that you do want, you have to continue to grind, which encourages you to go buy microtransactions. So it's not like you can't even buy what you want. So for me, this is like even more egregious than most of our loot box examples.
And this
microtransactions.
This is kind of a pay. People use this term a lot, but this is a pay to win.
Totally.
Model, where you can get better cars just by putting money into the game.
It's baffling. This is one of those tentpole things that's going to be for. Do you think these guys would want to engender goodwill in their community in a way that like they don't need it the way like a WB does necessarily, right? Like or a
Well, WB spent most of its is spending most of its budget on advertising, seemingly.
Sure, I know it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yes. Can't believe it.
Yeah, this is upsetting for this to come from a racing game, because that's usually what the game is. You start with a crappier car, and you work your way up, and then eventually you get the good cars. And I mean, especially in a game like Forza, I love Forza. I love racing games. I played Gran Turismo like my entire childhood. Yeah, I love the simulation games. I love real cars. But to find out that most of like the exotic cars that you want to get after you beat a good majority of the game, you're gonna have to buy or spend packs to hope to get them on a chance is that instantly I'm no longer interested in buying.
And it's not a game mode that is reliant exclusively on this stuff. Like the rec packs in Halo 5 didn't seem that weird to me.
And I actually really liked that system because they gave you the maps for free, right? They didn't want to segment their audience. They said, hey, and they were straightforward about that, right? They said, hey, here are the maps. Go buy some rec packs that'll keep this afloat, but we're going to keep the whole community playing as one. Like, to me, that made a lot of sense. They messaged it well. I don't think they did that here.
Yeah, and they still made it. Yeah, the modes where you utilize the rec packs still, like, if I didn't have a rec pack for like a rocket launcher, if I played well enough, you can get a rocket launcher and just don't use your drops as frequently. Now you get more powerful stuff.
I still did. I still spent way too much money.
But people were complaining about Destiny's Bright Engrams before launch, and not to go too far into it, Nate. But ever since launch, and people saw how that was implemented. They're
fine.
They're fine.
Totally.
Like I got a level 10 legendary helmet that looked really cool, but it was level 10. So I infused it, and now it's something that I use. But that that countered.
That's what they did with Eververse stuff before,
Yeah.
and with rewards.
See,
and
I just learned
things
that
are
level
cosmetic.
10 thing they're patching out on the update this morning. That is a bug.
Because
not a feature.
Well, no. Some of the bug stuff was that it was raid gear.
But a lot of stuff was dropping at 10. A lot of the community stuff was, and that was never intended.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like everybody assumed it dropped to 10 so you could infuse it, and like it made you have to put some work into it. But that's just a bug.
But also, in terms of all of the other stuff on Eververse right now,
Right.
it's just sparrows and jump ships. That's not any.
I know, just
Jeez.
stop.
Spoilers.
And
There's
and
sparrows in the game.
shaders,
Dog. Totally wrecked it.
Like and gun skins. Like it's nothing.
I know.
It's nothing.
I like the guns.
I do too. I got a couple that I'm not using because I don't have those guns.
Me too.
But
But
all
when you
right.
get the gun with you already have the skin for it, you're like,
Yeah,
yes,
it's gonna look cool.
So cool.
All right, so we didn't talk about a lot of stuff. I know the Battlefront 2 beta is coming up soon.
Today?
It's today?
Or tomorrow, yeah.
Okay, either way, we're going to talk about that and the video that dropped earlier this week with John Boyega next time, just so that we can talk about them in one big thing. But thank you so much for watching this episode of Inventory Full. If you liked it, make sure to leave us a review on iTunes, which somebody did. Tumbling Block left us, I just found this podcast through Mark and his other shows on AfterBuzz, and as a gamer, I instantly took to it. They talk about relevant gaming news in an easy-to-follow format, and each host is both entertaining and knowledgeable. The show is really nice to listen to exclusively or put on to listen to while playing video games that don't require a lot of higher thinking. Thanks, guys, for putting on a great podcast. Thank you. And if you
awesome.
are a
Thanks
frequent
for
watcher of the
watching.
show and you play Hearthstone, we have a Hearthstone card pack for you. Please get into contact with us. Follow us on Twitter, Inventory Full PT. Follow us on Twitch. We stream throughout the week, not just this talk show. Please, we're at Inventory Full PT. Give us a follow. You will not be disappointed. We stream all sorts of stuff, not just PUBG and Destiny, which we'll probably will be streaming this week. But until next week, Patrick, where can the folks find you?
Peter the D's on Twitter, and you can find me at Truly Slide on your console of choice. Stacey.
I am at Stacey Shuttles on Twitter, Twitch, or Instagram, or at Seriously Siri on the PlayStation Network.
Hey guys, you can find me at DogLikeNate on Twitter and Instagram. Hit me up. Let's play.
Love this song.
I do too. And you can find me on Twitter at Mark Donica. And we love putting the show together for you. If you want more of it, please leave us comments. Please follow us. Please subscribe to us. Let the Popcorn Talk Network know, hey, maybe give them more time. But we'll save that for next time. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Inventory Full PT. We'll see you in the Wild West.
Bye, guys.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners and principals.